Hi everybody, it's Katie. Welcome to season 11 of my Island Designer series. This season we are doing Ancient Jungle, a Mesoamerican expedition. Last time we put together the beautiful concession stand and the entryway to our island. I really like the way that this particular area came together with all the cute little colors. You can see the food and everything down here. The truck, so cute. And then up a little bit further by what will eventually be the visitor center. I love the way that the island is going to be this beautiful tourist destination. And the little map in particular, look how cute it is. For today's build, I decided we would tackle the biggest and most complicated area on the island. That is going to be the large temple complex, the pyramid that we're gonna put in the very back left corner. The main reason I want to start with the biggest build right this early on is that I'm not quite sure how much space it's going to take up, and where the build goes and how it structures is going to have a big impact on a lot of the things around it. In order to prepare, I have been pulling together all the supplies that I think I need. You can see I've got a lot of the stone moss items, simple panels, and I have already put together a really beautiful custom pattern for it. In order to make sure the temple walls don't repeat too much, I actually have 3 different old stone tiles that I put together where the moss and the stone bricks are in a little bit of a different orientation. The main item that has really given me the inspiration to do this project is this here, the wide display stand. I know that probably sounds really weird, but watch this. If I turn it around, if we look from the back, we actually have a lot of really beautiful stone texture, and it's nice and big and tall. I'm going to use it to fill in a lot of the pyramid space, and here is where it is going to go. This big, huge area back here. I think we better get started. I've pulled up a bunch of land to give me a little bit of a guideline as to where things are going to go. I know that it's going to be bigger than this, but I'm not quite sure where. You see, the design element that I most care about here is where the stairs are going to go, and as you can see, it's not enough space to put a stairway up to the very top level. I think a lot of the build is going to go this way, where I have an idea and then it requires a little bit of terraforming before I can put the idea in place, and then we go with the next idea and do a little bit of terraforming and so on. It's the next day, and unfortunately the second stairway isn't going to go right on this next area. I wanted it to just have one space in between so that the stairs would flow together, but alas, I got to do a little bit more terraforming. Like I said, idea, terraforming, idea, problem solving, etc. This isn't the first time I have chosen to do a large representational build in Animal Crossing, and they always take a lot of trial and error. You have to just sort of go with the flow until you're happy with the build. As I moved forward on the temple, I did do a little bit more terraforming out, and then I'm putting a lot of just a basic dirt path underneath where I think the temple is going to go. Eventually, I plan to come back and fill this in with a custom pattern on top. The big thing I'm concerned about at this point is where we're going to be able to see the pyramid. I know that I want to do a platform up and where you can see most of the pyramid in one view. If I was going to give any one piece of advice to somebody who wanted to do a big representational build on their island, it's to make sure that there is a viewing spot, if not a couple viewing spots, to look at the thing that you've created. In order to create the illusion of the step pyramid, I am using 4 items. The wide display case that I was showing you earlier turned around backwards, and then I'm using the regular simple panel. Next down, I'm using one of the reception counters, and then I'm using the short simple panel in front of that. Both the regular and the short simple panels are customized with one of those 3 brick textures that have a little bit of moss in them so that they look old, but that they still sort of match everything around them. The very top of the pyramid has one of the new gazebos. I'm really excited about the way that brings everything up to a beautiful crest. The new glowing moss items are also a really good fit for the way I wanted to interpret this particular area, and I like the way that they have a little bit of the moss texture for that particular view. I played around a lot with how I wanted that top layer to look, and in the end I actually changed it again before I'm completely happy with the pyramid, but most of this part, just the regular placing, is the same thing over and over. We have a lot of really great items in this game to give us a sort of a texture and a little bit of character to the very front of the build. What we don't have a lot of are things that give us the bulk, that give us the body of the building, and that is what I'm using this wide display case for. It is absolutely crucial to the build, even though it's not something that we will really see or notice very much. When I was brainstorming on how to put the pyramid together, I wasn't confident that I could do it until after I found this piece, so I'm really glad to have found something that fit the vision I had in my head. At this point in the build, I was still trying to decide how far out things were going to go and what kind of space everything was going to take up, but I probably should have stopped and put the custom pattern on the ground. I do have to go back and peel all this back up again to put the custom pattern down. The temple portion of the area is finished, and I love the way that it came out. I think it looks really good. It has good texture and dimension and looks like a gigantic structure on the island. It even looks really good on the map. I'll show you that in a minute. That doesn't, however, mean that the area is done. It is a jungle, so it's going to be important that we really fill in a lot of space. Let's take a look at what this looks like from the top. I think that the temple looks great, but I also believe that it is going to look way better once we fill in all of the trees and the greenery around it. Once it is totally encapsulated by jungle, it will really help. I do plan on using a ton of palm trees on this island, so I'm just putting a little bit of sand down so I can drop those palm trees in place, but that is not the end of the greenery that we're talking about on this island. I have assembled a variety of items and patterns to create my jungle for the island, and this whole area is going to have to be covered. But first I want to put together a little bit more of the watching or the viewing area. I'm using a little bit of just this beautiful little wooden fence to put down a barrier. This fence would have been a modern addition because remember, while some of this is ancient that we're viewing, the island is being put together as a tourist attraction. The path and the elements here are part of what has been put in place in a modern world. We want all of our Animal Crossing villagers to come and enjoy their stay and be safe, and I do feel like there would be a beautiful little fence just along the front edge here with some seating and trash cans and stuff for personal people needs. I'm not going to put one in front of the big beautiful temple, but in various spots on the path along the island, I think I'm even going to add some latrines. Everything outside of the tourist attraction and the path is going to be covered with this rainforest, with the jungle that is just taking over everything. I want it to be full and lush and interesting, even though a lot of people may not even see it as they walk through the island. I'm just going to start here and get a few of the patterns down so you can see part of the process I'm going through, but I'll do most of this decorating off camera. Check out the map, and now that everything is done, you can really see where that big beautiful pyramid on the map is, and I love the way that it becomes a feature even just at this map stage. Let me walk you over to the pyramid and show you the way that everything came out with the jungle put in place around it and a little bit more decoration on the platform. Look at all the beautiful colors, lush and green and bright, and then you sort of come out of the jungle into the big pyramid, and you can go up in the pyramid yourself, which I really wanted. The view from the top isn't much because you really just see the top of the pyramid, but in the distance there, you've got some of the green top of the trees just settling out. I like the way that that worked out. The jungle area around this big, beautiful pyramid has a surprising amount of decoration for being off the beaten path, and I keep running into these little vines and sitting on them and the mum cushions. That's okay, I'm just gonna move around it here. Like I do on so many of my islands, I'm treating the beach as if it's just more of the grass, just more of the island already in place. And it just keeps things cohesive and coming together and gives you a little bit more decoration space by using the beach that way. There's some really fun bugs tucked back in here and lots of good weeds and patterns. I love the way that it looks. Just wandering through it is fun. If we follow the path back this way, we can go up onto the visitor overview, where I like having this just kind of beautiful place to see out over the pyramid. I put a couple telescopes up here just to help reinforce the fact that it is a tourist area, but check it out when we open up the camera. The view with the camera is everything that I was hoping for and exactly what I wanted, where we had good green all around it, but then we have the temple where you can see the whole thing. Just perfect. I'm so excited to have the temple pyramid come out with so much detail and really be a fun piece of the island. And you can see here where we've got room to grow. The rest of this path is going to go down into a little bit of our walkway with some of the bridges, but that is a different episode for a different time. I think that this beautiful site needs a name. It needs some type of visitor name that everybody can refer to how they went and saw. Fill in the blank. Be sure and let me know if you have any ideas in the comments below. I hope you found something useful here and continue creating in this game. Until next time, have the best Animal Crossing day.